Good evening. We're going to call the Beer Board meeting for October 21st, 2014 in order. We do have a quorum. If everyone would look over the minutes, we'll approve the minutes. And while we're looking over the minutes, I'd like to welcome Lou Sullivan. Thank you for getting on the board.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Would you care to make a motion?
Oh, would you like to make a motion?
No, I think that's sufficient. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, okay. Off-premise beer permit application for Neighborhood Market 3, located at 400A Old Nashville Highway. Applicant is Rafiq Alicia. If you will, go ahead and step up to the podium, please. Pronounce your name, spell it, and give us the location of your business.
Okay, it's Rafiq Alicia, and the name is Neighborhood Market Number 3, and the location is 400 Old Nashville Highway, Vergne, Tennessee.
Okay. And the background check has come back, so everything's good on that.
Have you ever owned a store that sold beer before?
Yes, I actually own 3 other stores.
You own 3 other stores?
Yeah, 2 of them here in Vergne.
Okay, so you know our laws.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
not to sell to a minor, correct?
Yes, ma'am, never did. 4 years so far.
And do you have a training program in place for your employees so that they know not to sell to
Yeah, I
minors?
actually trained them myself, though.
You train them yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, currently, have you had any violations with any 3 of the stores?
No, sir.
Good, keep up the
Never.
good work. But let's just make sure it stays that way.
I hope so.
Then you can have number 4 right after that.
4 and 5, yeah.
You are aware that if any of your employees caught selling to a minor, for example, that your permit ultimately would be the one responsible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's one of the big issues we deal with
Yeah.
here. So even if it was them, even if they go through the legal proceeding, ultimately you come before us. It's your permit with us. So.
Yeah, I do know. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve?
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with your business.
Sir, thank you.
All right. Second on the agenda is motion to penalize, revoke, suspend the beer permit for Pilot Travel Center, number 052, for selling beer to a person under the age of 21 located at 535 Walden Road. Permit holder is Pilot Travel Center, LLC, DBA Pilot Travel Center, number 052. This is their second offense. Is there anyone here to represent Pilot? Okay, since we do not have anyone that will be representing Pilot, how do we want to proceed on this?
What are our options?
Our options are we could defer it. We could go ahead and discuss this issue.
Impose a fine or revoke?
Excuse me?
Impose a fine or revoke? Are those on there as well?
Yes, and that would be one of the.
Mr. Chairman, if I may make some comments. I had spoken to, I think his name was Kevin Crawford, at Pilot Travel Centers yesterday. I think he's based in Knoxville. They were going to request a deferral until the next meeting. They wanted their regional manager to be able to be here. Obviously, I can't speak for them because they're not here. Our rules of procedure for the application said that somebody must be present to explain the request and field questions. If no one is present to explain the request, the item will be deferred for 1 month. If no one is present at the second meeting, the request will be denied.
Hang on just a second. We may have to, we may just, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's fine. But there's nothing in our rules of procedure that talk about hearings, so.
Okay. All right. Good evening. Are you here to represent Pilot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you don't mind, come on up to the podium, please, sir.
All right. I apologize, I'm late. Didn't realize the traffic in this area.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, state your name and who you work for, and we'll go from there, okay?
My name is Lazaro Munera. I work for Pilot, Laverne, Tennessee, over here at 535 Waldron Road.
Can you spell your name, please?
Lazaro, Munera, Munera.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You do understand why you're here tonight?
I do. I've gotten bits and pieces. I do apologize. This is, from what I understand, we're supposed to be part of the responsible vendor program.
Well, that's
This-
a question.
Right.
For-
This is something that happened in 2013, from what I was told.
Yes, sir.
Somebody sold alcohol to a minor.
Correct.
I believe it was in June or July. And again, I apologize. I'm new to the store,
Right.
and so is my district manager. So they asked me to go ahead and come over here and see what the situation was. Obviously, from what my understanding is, as of right now, we are not. I'm asking if you could give me some time so I can go ahead and get my people certified through this program. I've got approximately 15 employees. I did try calling this number today, but unfortunately nobody got back to me. I am trying to go ahead and take care of this. You know, I do apologize that it hasn't happened before. It fell through the cracks. We've had 3 managers. I believe it's about 3 managers since this happened.
Yes, sir. Under this situation, I don't think the Responsible Vendor Act would really help in this situation because currently you're not under the Responsible Vendor Act. So let me ask you this. What would be the other options for discussion on this for your company?
Well, honestly, you let me know, and it's something that I can go ahead and let the company know. They want to be proactive as far as this. They want to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Right.
As far as I know, to my knowledge, it hasn't happened at this particular store in about a year, a little over a year.
Right.
They've kept, we have programs in the POS system that do pop up whenever we do have a sale of whether it's a tobacco product or an alcohol product as far as the age group is concerned, and you have to punch it in. So, I mean, we do have certain things in place to go ahead and prevent that, to the sale of a minor, whether it is tobacco or alcohol. Now, obviously, this didn't happen last time, and I can't honestly say if these programs were in position as they are now back at that time. I don't know. I've been with the company for 4 months.
Right. I understand.
So for that lack of knowledge, I do apologize.
Okay.
Well, and previously, we went ahead and determined that there was guilt. What happened was based on our understanding that Pilot Travel Center was a responsible vendor, we rendered a verdict that really didn't apply because, as it turns out, you're not. And so you are new to the company, so I imagine you don't know if any of the other Pilot stores are under the responsible vendor program or not.
To my knowledge, I don't. They are under another. They are under another program, but it's not It doesn't apply to this county. Let me see, and that's other stores, obviously, because I don't know what other store, except for Murfreesboro, of course. I don't know what other stores we do have in Rutherford County, as far as that's concerned. I do apologize, I'm reading through this. The CAST program, and that doesn't qualify for, so that is the only program, as far as to my knowledge, that I know that we're under.
Okay. So we basically have two options tonight. We can go ahead and proceed with the second offense violation, or we could obtain a deferral for 1 month, and that will be up to this board to decide.
Did the fine that we previously imposed, was it paid? No?
No, it was not.
Okay.
We never did send them an invoice because we were waiting for proof that they are a part of the Tennessee Responsible Vendor Program. We had asked for that documentation more than once, and we never received it, so that's why we called the second hearing.
Okay. Do we need to do anything regarding our verdict under the last one? Do we need to revoke it, or I'm just curious. We can't levy two penalties for the same offense.
That is correct. Right now, you have before the board, let me look at the agenda, a motion to penalize, revoke, or suspend the beer permit for the Pilot Travel Center. We do have a representative here. You're essentially having a rehearing on the issue of the penalty, considering the fact that the representation that was made by the individual representing Pilot last time is now essentially null and void. I suppose for safekeeping, there could be a motion made to alter or amend that original decision by the board as to the suspension based upon what has been represented now to the fact of that was a misstatement by their representative. And now that with the new statements from their representative here today, you have a new motion on the table to decide what the punishment will be, similar to what you did in the first hearing. So if you want to take care of that first with a motion to alter or amend based on that, and then do a motion of what your penalty is going to be, you can certainly do that.
Okay. And I suppose we could also defer this to the next meeting?
You could. If you defer it to the next meeting, you want to maybe discuss the reasons why you're deferring it. I believe that the applicant, and I don't want to put words in the applicant's mouth, I keep calling you applicant, I'm sorry about that, but the representative here from Pilot has represented, again, that they are not part of the responsible vendor program in Tennessee. Generally, my understanding is there are different training courses that a vendor can do that are certified by the Alcohol Beverage Commission, which might come within the requirements of being a responsible vendor program. He said that CAST does not apply.
Apparently, CAST is one of the programs that our company does get into as far as the responsible vendor program. But from my understanding is, from what I've been told, it does not apply for this kind of Rutherford, excuse me. So because of that, obviously, that's one of the reasons that I'm here. I'm trying to find out and see if there's anything that I can do to go ahead and rectify that as the new manager there. I can also add that, as part of a training program, whenever we do hire our personnel, there is video training as far as e-training is concerned, and that's very in-depth also, on top of everything else on the POS system, as far as selling to underage.
I'd further note that it's not this board's authority to determine whether they're not in compliance with the responsible vendor program. It's not this board's authority to determine which of their programs do satisfy the requirements of the responsible vendor program. It's simply this board's authority to determine if the proof that they have presented is such that they are certified by the Alcohol Beverage Commission through the responsible vendor program, and their clerks are, which generally, my understanding, is through a certification. You have a piece of paper or some other certification that says that you are a responsible vendor, or your clerks have taken the requisite types of training. And if I understand you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, sir, you don't have that. It's your understanding that
It's my understanding the responsible vendor program, which is this this program that that was sent, we're not.
Okay.
And Mr. Blair, your statement as to what the punishment would be at issue, I believe is correct. It would be the authority now that they're not a responsible vendor, they'd be treated just like any other facility or retail establishment in terms of having the ability to revoke or suspend or do a civil penalty in lieu of
Right.
up to $2,500.
Okay.
Okay. So, do I have a motion? First, I'd like to go with a motion to rescind the statement or the violation for July the 15th. Then that way, we've got the responsible vendor
Issue.
out of our way.
I'll second that
Okay.
motion.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now, for the penalty,
Mr. Blair,
yes.
if I can verify that motion, you're essentially, you made a motion to rescind the previous penalty that was issued at the
Yes.
last meeting.
for the responsible vendor.
Right, based upon the
based-
responsible vendor.
Based upon the responsible vendor information that was given to this board.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that motion.
Yes. Next, we will decide whether to suspend or have a civil penalty in lieu of. So, any discussion about that?
I don't have it in front of me. Do we know when their first offense was? It may be.
I do not recall that.
It may be in here.
I don't believe it's in your packet. If you'd like for me to,
I was thinking it might have been in the minutes if we discussed it at the last meeting.
I think you said it was a year, 18 months ago?
From what my understanding was, it was like around June, July of 2013.
Okay, all right. And normally, we haven't looked at that in the past. Normally, we look at, first offense, second offense, and so on. Personally, I don't think we ought to have anyone selling alcohol to minors, so. Back to discussion.
I believe the infraction that he is referring to here is the one that we're here for now.
Yes,
The August 2013.
If you would like for me to, I could go pull the information as far as when the previous violation occurred. It would only take me a minute or two to do that.
okay, if you don't mind, please.
Yes, please.
Do we want to have any other discussion while he's looking for that?
Yes, there is one thing, and I'm going to find here where I wrote it down. The program that he referenced, CASS, or was that
Cast?
CAST? Do we know anything? Are we familiar with that program at all?
I'm not.
I've not heard of it. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
Okay. I'm just curious what it would be that would be unique to not apply in Rutherford County. But on the years I've been on this board, I've never heard of it.
I never have either.
And again, I'm just going by, I apologize for little bits and pieces here.
Understood.
I'm just going by, some of the emails that I actually read. Apparently, the company is part of a program called CAS, and this has something to do with selling some type of responsibility program, vendor responsibility program. But again, it doesn't, it is not the same as the responsible vendor program for Rutherford County, at least for the information that I
That's a
received.
state program.
I would note, and I don't know if this has currently been asked by the applicant for a deferral. I'm not sure, clear, but if it is, the board might want to see if that is the case, because I'm not sure about that.
Right, I'm not either. Did the company send you in to ask for a deferral?
So that we can go ahead and comply
Investigate?
comply with what we need to go ahead and comply with to get this taken care of.
Okay. And a deferral would not accomplish that.
Okay.
At the time, I would say at the time that it was committed and at the time that this board agreed that the crime had been, a violation had occurred, Pilot was not a part of the responsible vendor program. So even if you became one tomorrow, it would not apply to these proceedings.
Understood.
So,
So I guess where does that leave Pilot as far as the Laverne store is concerned? Do we need to rectify something?
Yes, there will be something that has to be rectified.
Because obviously I knew about the fee, but they told me, about some type of penalty fee.
We have a civil penalty of $2,500.
Okay.
Or a suspension of 45 days currently is what we've had in the past.
Right.
So it would be up to this board to decide. It would be up to you to decide which way you wanted to go, depending on the board's decision.
Understood.
Okay? So I really think the board needs to make that decision, and then we could go move forward.
Fair enough.
and this board is not and cannot force you to become a part of the responsible vendor program. So
Right.
that is totally up to you and your company to decide if you want to go through that process. We don't and cannot force that on anyone. We have some permit holders here who are part of the program. We have some who are not. So it's not a requirement to sell beer in Laverne.
And as far as Pilot's concerned, they just want to go ahead and do, the right thing for the area. So that's part of the reason that I'm also here, is just make sure.
Okay.
Okay. So what does this board, what would this board like to do?
Well, and the reason that I inquired about the date is you're right. Historically, we've always first, second, third penalty, but it seems like it's really just been the past 5 years that we've really had stings and we've had these types of hearings.
Correct.
And so I wonder, does there get to a point where if somebody's first offense was in 2008 and this is their second offense in 2013, do we treat it the same?
It's totally up to this board. So
And that was the reason for the inquiry. So were you able to locate it?
The beer board hearing where the violation was considered for the first offense was September the 21st, 2010. At that time, the beer board issued a 14-day suspension with the option of a $1,500 civil penalty for selling to a minor. I don't have the exact date of the beer sting, but it did come before this board September 21st, 2010.
Okay. If I remember correctly, they were doing those in March pretty consistently, it seemed like. So we could, but obviously we can deal with the September date.
Right.
So
any other discussion? Do I have a motion for anything?
Can we split it?
It's up to this board.
well, I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, can we split it to where it's the fine and?
I don't believe
Oh,
we
no,
can. No,
you
Okay.
cannot do
That's what I
that.
was asking.
No, ma'am.
I just wanted to double check on that.
We have a suspension or a penalty in lieu of.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Okay.
double check.
Does suspension have to be 45 days, or can it be less than 45 days?
It's up to this board.
Based on experience, we found it good to be consistent.
That way we're not in court,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
with other issues. I'll go ahead and make the motion to as it being a second offense, to have a 45-day suspension or a penalty of $2,500, civil penalty up to $2,500 in lieu of the suspension.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. You would have 7 days to either make that decision to go ahead and pay the $2,500 or go ahead and shut down the coolers for the sale of beer for 45 days.
Mr. Chairman, what I will do is I will go write up the order
Okay.
and get you to sign that here before you leave. So if you could stay around for a little while after the meeting, I can give you that order from the beer board, and you'll have 7 days to make that decision whether or not to pay the $2,500, or at the end of that 7-day period is when the 45 days will start.
Understood.
Okay, any questions?
No, sir. I'll just let Pilot know. As soon as that's written up, I'll go ahead and send it through email and get that taken care of.
Okay.
I appreciate it, and I do apologize again.
All right.
Thank
Thank you. Any other business to be brought before this board? None? Any
Not today.
motions? All right. Okay, a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.